Thank you, Tim. Some quick thinking by employees and a quick response from the Grand Rapids Fire Department helped keep an area of business from going up in flames. A small fire broke out at Padnos Iron and Metal in Grand Rapids late last night. Firefighters responded in just a minute and were able to put that small fire out. And it was quick thinking by an employee who opened a door that allowed firefighters in without having to force their way in and cause more damage to the building. Only one high-low was lost in that fire. Investigators are now looking into the cause. On Saturday, Grand Rapids Mayor George Hartwell declared the city in a state of emergency. He added that he's confident the 25-foot flood wall will do its job. But things are so saturated at this point, the water table is rising. Now groundwater is getting into downtown buildings. Both the JW Marriott and Amway Grand Plaza hotels have been pumping water out of their basements for days. One thing the city is really keeping a close eye on is protecting the wastewater treatment plant, and workers spent Saturday afternoon building a reinforcement wall made of sand around its perimeter.
It was very clear that that is a top priority for us in the city, protecting that facility. I can assure you that all the precautions are being taken.
Mayor Hartwell is still reminding residents in Grand Rapids, watch your water use. He says that will be very helpful in the coming days. All right, thank you, Nicole. Also breaking out, 3 departments called out to a mobile home fire in Sparta. It happened on Glen Park Drive. The first call came in a little after 2 this morning, and the homeowner reported that there were flames under the mobile home. Everybody got out safely, though. No injuries were reported there. The Grand Rapids Home for Veterans getting some new additions, and they're breaking ground today. The home won a $25,000 grant from Home Depot back in February, and they're adding a new patio, potting shed, and some landscaping. Local Home Depot employees will be at the home this morning starting at 8 o'clock. They'll be there until noon. But they still need your help to continue with renovations. There's a $250,000 grant at stake, and the Veterans Home needs your votes on Facebook to try and get that. We will put a link on our website, fox17online.com. A teenager from Ottawa County still in critical condition after being hit by a car at a school bus stop. It happened yesterday near 15-year-old Giovanni Vivero Bia's home off 8th Avenue in Wright Township. Deputies say he was crossing the street with his younger brother to get on a Coopersville school bus when he was hit. Giovanni is a former Coopersville student who's being bused to New Options High School, an alternative school in Allendale. Deputies say it was just a terrible accident.
Preliminary reports indicate the bus was stopped with his flashers going, indicating that other traffic should stop, and then the teen would cross. It's just a very unfortunate circumstance.
The driver of the car, a 79-year-old woman from Grand Rapids, was treated for minor injuries. Deputies don't think she was on the phone. She also has a clean driving record. 2 teenagers in Missouri are now facing charges for murdering a couple from the Baldwin area. Paul and Margaret Brooks were stabbed to death on January 31st in Stone County, Missouri. They were on vacation at the time. The sheriff's department there says blunt trauma was a factor, but both died from stab wounds. The 2 suspects, a 17-year-old and a 16-year-old, are charged with first-degree murder. Today, the man found guilty of shooting a Muskegon police sergeant will learn his sentence. Paul Osborne was found guilty on 6 counts, including assault with intent to murder. Police say Osborne ambushed the police who responded to a domestic violence call at a home in Muskegon last December. Sergeant Monica Shirey was hit in the leg with a shotgun blast. She managed to crawl to safety and later testified against Osborne. He was shot in the stomach, was Osborne. We will let you know what his sentence is. The next few days really going to help river levels continue to fall in our West Michigan, but that's just small comfort to people who are still dealing with the impact of flooding. In Grand Rapids, people who live at Plaza Towers still can't get back inside their homes. The property manager says they have been allowed to turn on an additional pump to try and get water out of the lower levels faster. In all of Kent County, the state of emergency has been extended another month. At this point, still not determined how much damage has occurred. Meantime, the Red Cross will continue helping out residents throughout Ottawa County all day long. They have mobile emergency response vehicles that'll pass out snacks, water, and cleanup kits to flood victims. Those kits include mops, brushes, and more to help people return to their normal lives. They'll be in Polkton Township, Grand Haven, and Holland today at the times and locations you see on your screen. We'll have another look at more of your top stories this morning coming up at 6:30. But first, let's head back to Mike, Sarah, John, Davis, everybody who is there at Frederick Meyer Gardens and Sculpture Park. There's a lot more people there than there are in the Fox 17 studios today, guys.
Well, guns and ammo, those were some of the hot items shoppers grabbed as another store opens up in Granville.
Gander Mountain's new Firearms Supercenter was packed for grand opening. It was packed before grand opening. You see nearly 700 people waiting in line yesterday to be some of the first inside. Now, this is the same building, same store as the old Gander Mountain, but it has a whole new concept, this time focusing on firearms and ammo. Gun stores all over the country have reported a growing demand because of fears over gun control legislation. Spots like Gander Mountain say they are trying to just keep up with consumer needs.
The ammunition is by far the most sought after thing, and there's some unique firearms that we have that is tough in the nation to get, and we've secured plenty of them for this event.
Around November, stores all over the country started reporting running out of guns and ammo, mostly ammo. Demand also went up after the shootings in Newtown. And the grand opening fun continues this weekend. Troy and Brandon of Swamp People will make a special appearance. That means Kelly's going to be there too. They'll be there from 2 to 6 p.m. If you are one of the first 100 people through the doors today, you get a $10 gift card, and they have all kinds of other fun promotions going on. Morning, Mike. I wish we had better news about Abby Greer, but sadly we do not. She passed away yesterday morning after a fight that went on more than half of her short life. Abby had ependymoma, a rare form of brain cancer where a tumor grows in the central nervous system. Hers was at the base of her brain stem. It was discovered when she was only 10 months old, and the fight to get it out lasted the rest of her life. We first met Abby and her family last January when they told us they still had their Christmas tree up and were going to keep it up all year long because they feared they wouldn't have another Christmas with Abby. Initially, surgery and radiation looked to be successful. Follow-up exams were clean, but the cancer returned and hope for a miracle faded fast. A note was posted on her Facebook support page that issues continued into this past weekend and that doctors said she'd done so many rounds of treatment, more than 50, that there was nothing else they could do. Funeral arrangements are as follows. Visitation will be held Friday at the Gerst O'Brien Eggebine Funeral Home on Cascade Southeast in Grand Rapids. That's from 4 to 7. Then again Saturday at the Grand Rapids First United Methodist Church on Fulton Southeast at 10 a.m. Her funeral is at 11 a.m. that day at that church. Terrible news. Many of us met Abby, met her family. We were amazed at their strength through this whole ordeal. And West Michigan came out strong in fundraising for the family. More than $10,000 was raised at a restaurant benefit. There was even a charity hockey game for her. And Abby and her family got to go to Disney World in February. By the way, her parents are expecting another child later this year. Live in the studio, Tim Doty, Fox 17 News. All right, thank you, Tim. In Kent County, the health department has issued a no-contact advisory for the Grand River. Concerns over E. coli and salmonella are a few reasons. Fast current is another. Yesterday afternoon, a man had to be rescued near Fifth Third Ballpark after getting into some trouble. He was found in a raft holding onto a tree. First responders had to use a rescue boat and jet skis to get him to safety, but he is expected to be okay. And we're trying to keep you safe while this flooding continues. We're going to check in again with Tim Swore as well as Nicole DiDonato during our 7 o'clock hour. For all the information you need during this time, go to fox17online.com and check out our flood resource guide. Police are asking for your help trying to track down a suspect who robbed a bank in Kalamazoo. Here's a look at the man caught on surveillance cameras at the First Community Federal Credit Union of West Nedge. Police say he walked into the bank just before noon on Saturday, handed the teller a note, demanded cash, and then walked out with the money. Officers say he did not show any weapon. Police dogs were used to track the guy down but had no luck. He's described as being between 24 and 30 years old, around 5'10", between 175 and 195 pounds, and was last seen wearing a dark cap with flaps and tassels with snowflakes on it. If you have information, call Kalamazoo Public Safety or Silent Observer. He's been replaced and been back in the band and been replaced and then back in the band many, many times over the years. I only saw Kiss once with Ace Frehley.
You know, actually, Kelly was going to do her makeup like that today, and I was like, no, it's way too white.
I was tired, you know, this morning, so I didn't really want to feel like.
She's a little sloppy.
See, if we did Kiss makeup here, there'd be a problem because Leanne and I would both go for the cat makeup.
Oh, that's
yeah,
true.
Being the cat lovers.
Which one is he? Was he the guy with the star?
The drummer. Well, no. Ace had the Egyptian symbol on there. Yeah. The star child is Paul Stanley, and the demon is Gene Simmons, and the cat, of course, is Peter Criss.
You know your kiss.
Oh, yeah.
Saw him at the Allegan County Fair last year.
Did you really?
It was an absolute hoot. Yeah.
You can go the way you're dressed.
Yeah,
right
but
now.
don't go wearing the Egyptian symbol on your face and thinking you're Ace Frehley, because you're not.
Who are you?
You are Vinnie Vincent, who replaced Ace Frehley. I can't believe I compared Vinnie Vincent to Ace Frehley. The Kiss Army is mad at me for that one.
Such a
Space Ace just had
name.
the two like zigzaggy star things on his face. Now
Coming up in the commercial break, we'll put on our Kiss makeup.
Okay, switching back to flooding, some Lowell homeowners are still dealing with that, and they're waiting for those waters to come down. Luckily, they are.
It will end, yeah.
And as floodwaters continue to recede in Kent and Ottawa counties, Newaygo County is also dealing with flooding problems along the Muskegon River. A meeting was held last night with residents calling for changes at the 3 dams in the area. Some residents are claiming that the dams may have actually worsened flooding. Consumers Energy controls the Croton, Rogers, and Hardy dams, which generate hydroelectricity. The company says the operation is highly regulated. Residents, though, believe the dams are keeping water levels too high, and when there's heavy rain and the dams are opened up, flooding downstream on the Muskegon River, like we had recently, is inevitable.
There's a lot of erosion. All that energy is gone. They can't make power out of it because they're letting it go. And it damages people's homes and floods them out. And it's pretty terrifying to someone who lives near the river if it's way up.
We have a license that limits how quickly we can move the pond up and down. It regulates how far we can draw the pond down.
Consumers Energy is federally regulated. They say they can't control the dams exclusively for flooding. Residents in the area plan to get Senator Debbie Stabenow and Congressman Bill Heisinger's offices involved. Their representatives were on hand at the meeting. The public face of the 2013 Festival of the Arts in Grand Rapids has been revealed. The poster for this year's event was unveiled yesterday morning. Artist Abigail Bradley created it. She's from Grand Rapids and is a 4-time participant in Art Prize.
What if we just create this bright red background, and that can be, instead of featuring a literal image of the Calder, I thought we'll use the color of the Calder red sculpture, and that would be the presence. Seeing the different food booths.
Festival has 6 performance stages, art activities for the kids, and of course lots and lots of great food. The booths there benefit non-profit groups from food sold. It runs June 7th through June 9th. That's it for some of your top stories this hour. Let's send it back to Sarah, Mike, and John, who are live at the Frederick Meyer Gardens and Sculpture Park, where it smells better than it does here in the studio this morning. I'm Tim Doty. We are joined by meteorologist Kelly Smith. We have our first warm weekend forecast, but the real question that all of our viewers have, Kelly, how did it go at the driving range yesterday?
I had a little bit of an issue at the driving range.
I was leaving the driving range. She was walking to the driving range.
We passed each other.
Hi, Kelly.
And
Woods
and Braves today. Anibal Sanchez just crushed the Braves yesterday. That will be on Fox today. You can watch that right here on Fox 17. NFL Draft continues. Darius Slay. Somebody in this studio is a big Darius Slay fan.
Female that's not standing next to you.
He was drafted by the Lions yesterday, and of course Le'Veon Bell from Michigan State went to the Steelers in the 2nd round. Going to see a lot of guys from Michigan State, Michigan probably get picked up as the draft wraps up today, rounds 4 through 7. And of course you as a Chippewa
Eric Fisher
are celebrating. Can you believe that? A CMU guy going number 1 overall.
First time since, what, 1968 or something?
Highest ever from the Mid-American Conference.
Love it.
Yeah, impressive stuff.
One thing we don't love, the Beebs. He's in trouble again.
Some of us are kind of pleased he's in trouble again.